Welcome to the first video in this series where I go over the most efficient exercises and how to implement these into a system that works for you and your schedule to maximize your gains in the gym. In the last video, I talked about how 80% of your results come from 20% of the things you do. We'll split up the upper body into push and pull, and the major muscles are the chest, anterior and middle delts, and triceps, and the lats, rhomboids, and traps, rear delts, and biceps. Let's start with the chest, the natural Monday muscle. The most prime and used chest exercise is the barbell bench press. Let's not neglect its variations, the incline barbell bench press and the underhand barbell bench press. The barbell bench press is awesome on its own, but the incline barbell bench press hits the upper chest a little more and the underhand barbell bench press is a fancier version that's nice to sprinkle in from time to time. The key elements of the barbell bench press will be to drive your feet into the ground, twist them into the ground, therefore activating your hips, squeezing your glutes, arching your back to a strong arch, squeezing your shoulder blades together, and crushing the barbell with your grip while also pulling it apart. You want to set up your eyes with the barbell so you have a solid starting point, and every set starts the same to ensure you track progress effectively. As far as where to place your hands, the study looked at the effects of hand placement on the barbell bench press at 6 to 8 rep max sets with EMG, net joint moment, and strength normalized net joint moments of 7 different muscles. We found that there is more EMG, net joint moment, and strength normalized net joint moment in the triceps, front delts, and clavicular head of the pec when the grip is closer. They compared this to a wider grip, which results in more pec activity, specifically in the abdominal head of the pec. What does this mean for you? Go as wide as you possibly can. Just kidding. I don't believe wider always means better. For example, if you take the widest grip possible, you simply won't be able to push that much weight as you normally would otherwise. The more weight can result in more tension and thus more muscle growth as you progress. For example, if your pecs are capable of bench pressing 100 pounds for 8 reps, you take the most wide grip you can, you probably won't be able to bench press 100 pounds for 8 reps. You get maybe half the weight for the same amount of reps, resulting in 50 pounds of tension on your pecs compared to 100 pounds. When you lower the barbell, you'll still get the same stretch in your pecs. So with that in mind, why choose a weight that's significantly lower than what you are capable of? I personally find a 1.5 times shoulder width grip to be the most effective for me. After the setup, you want to unrack the bar, and when lowering, your forearms should stay perpendicular to the ground. This gives you the most efficient leverages to push the most weight. If my forearms kick off to an angle like this, I'm using more of my triceps and the leverages aren't as effective. Picture this analogy. You fuse 2 PVC pipes or anything else you have around that's stick-wise together for a battering ram, and you'll want the sticks to be straight and in line with each other. If you fuse them together at an angle, it's not going to have as much power and will most likely break at the midpoint where they meet upon impact. In a similar regard, lower the barbell to your lower sternum so when you view your lowering and pressing from the side, your forearms don't dip too far forward or backward for the same reason as keeping your forearms perpendicular to the ground. Think about it. If your forearms go back even slightly, you must use your triceps extra hard to ensure the barbell doesn't roll back on you. Just look at this video of my forearms going all the way back. Looks like a skull crusher, doesn't it? If your forearms go too far forward on the flip side, you're going to be using your biceps to keep it in position, kind of like a reverse curl. Pressing the barbell back up should go in the same path it went down, in an arc. If you just push straight up from your lower sternum and now back up above your chest, it's like you're doing an isometric front raise. I don't know about you, but I couldn't hold 100 plus pounds like that to prevent an unfortunate accident where the bar will land. Let's not think about that. Pressing it in this arc ensures the tension is staying with the chest instead of all on the shoulders. The incline barbell bench press is done in pretty much the same way, except you wouldn't arch your low back. Since doing this flattens out the pressing angle from your chest, and at that point you may as well do the flat variation. Also, what's important to realize about the incline barbell bench press, you should press straight up instead of in an arc. This makes sure the bar is in line with the upper pec fibers, targeting this area effectively. Now, according to the study, the researchers found that there was more upper pec growth with the incline bench press, or a combination of the incline bench press and the flat bench press, compared to just the flat bench press. This EMG study determined that the best angle for activating the upper pecs was at a 30-degree incline. Now, EMG has gotten some bad rap in the science-based fitness industry, but I believe it at least has some merit, especially since I don't know of any other studies, besides one above, that have looked at bench press angle in terms of hypertrophy. So the EMG data in the study are the best we have to go off of at the moment. The underhand barbell bench press variation is fun to try out every once in a while, since an underhand grip can supposedly hit the upper chest more than an overhand grip. but the form for this is a steep learning curve, and personally I'm not a huge fan of this variation. Using the dumbbells for flat and incline bench pressing uses all the same cues for the barbell variations. Dumbbells are awesome since you generally don't need as many warm-up sets to get to your working sets as compared to the barbell variations. I find more often than not I only do one warm-up set for the dumbbell bench presses, even if I'm working in heavier sets 6 to 8 reps, as compared to the barbell bench press, where I do at least the empty bar for my first warm-up set, 135 for the second, possibly a third if I'm working up to a heavier working set. Rest the dumbbells on your knees when sitting at the edge of the bench. Kick one dumbbell up as you go back, and then the next two after that, so you gracefully transition into the start position. To finish the set, reverse this while keeping the dumbbells close to your sides. If you fail a set, it's important to keep the dumbbells fairly close to your body. You drop them forward and out, away from your body. Now the set will start with the dumbbells in the bottom position compared to the top with the barbell bench presses. So make sure to keep your ego in check with dumbbell bench presses and use a weight you can push off your chest since you'll be starting there. With this in mind, the rep ranges will be different for the barbell and dumbbell versions. Hoisting up some heavy dumbbells for sets of 3 to 5 reps is pretty implausible, as a shoulder dislocation waiting to happen. Compared to using 3 to 5 reps for the barbell versions is more effective since you'll both be starting from the top position and only have to control one implement instead of two, the barbell compared to 2 individual dumbbells. I usually use anywhere from 3 to 15 reps for the barbell versions and 8 to 20 reps for the dumbbell versions, anywhere from 2 to 4 sets. One set just doesn't cut it, and any more than 4 sets it feels redundant after you're fatiguing your chest and triceps with a pressing movement. You could be doing more of an isolation movement. More often than not, I find my triceps fatigue out faster than with bench presses, whether they be barbell, dumbbell, flat, or incline, and it quickly becomes self-defeating as I see the reps drop off dramatically set to set after 3 to 4 sets. As for programming these into your training, I would stick with the barbell version and dumbbell variation, preferably alternating angles. So for example, flat barbell bench press one day and incline dumbbell bench press the next day, for 2 to 3 months, and then flip-flop to the other variations for the 2 to 3 months after that. Then rinse, wash, and repeat. Now there is a neutral grip dumbbell variation that slightly hits the upper chest more, but I feel this targets the triceps more. It can be redundant if you're already doing an incline dumbbell bench press. You can play around with this variation if things get stale, but quickly come back to the others. Now you can also change the pressing angle of the incline dumbbell press anywhere from 15 to 45 degrees to add some variety, noting from the studies above that 30 degrees has been shown to have the best upper chest activation. After your pressing movements, you can move to more of an isolation movement to really hammer the pecs. Same idea here. If you did a flat bench press, preferably do an incline fly variation and vice versa. And there aren't too many incline fly movements, but my favorites include the double arm or single arm, low to high cable chest fly, especially bent over variations, or in a half kneeling or quadruped hybrid position, since I can get my body pretty stable in these positions. It can be pretty challenging to get 2 cables near each other for double arm chest cable flies. If your gym doesn't have many cables to work with, it isn't the most courteous to other gym goers. Cable flies are excellent when introducing intensity techniques such as drop sets, mild reps, and even eccentrics. With these, I can do 2 to 3 sets of around 10 to 20 reps. When doing single arm variations, I usually top the reps at 15, since doing 20 for each arm and for 3 sets can take a long time, as well as pack on unnecessary systemic fatigue. You can also do these with dumbbells on a flat or incline bench, which I've been trying out lately, and from our research of length of partials, seem to be the better chest fly variation compared to the cables, especially since they get easier as you go through the range of motion. When you get more fatigued during a set, you generally want the exercise to become easier near the end of the rep, as it's that much harder to really squeeze out the rep. So also make sure that you can take a little pause and really control the lowering phase of the rep, which will result in more hypertrophy than just letting the dumbbells come crashing down. Dumbbell pick flies are also great because you'll already snag the bench from doing pressing earlier, and you're essentially warmed up in the movement pattern, so now all you have to do is grab light pairs of dumbbells and have at it. The only downside of the dumbbell pec fly is that it's difficult to do techniques such as drop sets on, compared to the cable chest flies where you just slip down the weight on the stack. Dips, push-ups, and the pec deck are also great chest exercises to do after you're heavy pressing for 2 to 3 sets at 10 to 12 reps, just like with the chest flies. I personally don't do many dips as the movement is weird for me, but the same principles apply. Keeping the forearms perpendicular to the ground, lowering under control until you feel a controlled, comfortable stretch, and then coming back up, really squeezing the pecs. With push-ups, you'll want the pressing angle just like you would with the forearms for bench pressing. Flat and decline variations are great as well, as adding a weight plate on the back and or putting a hand on a medicine ball to make the movement more unilateral, really targeting the pec on the arm of the ground. You'll have to do an equal number of sets on each side with these unless you alternate every rep, but even then this can make the set wonky. And there are dozens of other variations, but these I have found to produce the most efficient results and the easiest to track. These exercises should give you plenty of variety, and with intensity techniques, you'll have more than enough to work off of. Well, that wraps up the 20% of chest exercises that get 80% of the results. In the next video, I'll go over the 20% of shoulder exercises that get 80% of the results, so you'll know exactly which exercises to focus on for big, boulder shoulders. Comment below your favorite chest exercises. Don't forget to click the subscribe button and like this video if you found it helpful. I'll see you guys here in the next video.